No matter what we do in life, I say the 3M's are the cornerstone of success. And I'll dive in deeper into each one. But so whether you want to be a good dad, a good brother, a good athletic coach, a good entrepreneur, whatever you want to do in life, if we can bring those three things together, we could be successful.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Workergenics Mastermind. We have special guest Mark Diamond with Executive Coach Solutions. He's going to share some things that will really help business owners improve their business. Mark, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, and I hope you and your family had a great 4th also.
Thank you. So, Mark, tell us a little background about yourself. What got you into doing your coaching that you're doing today?
Well, I got into coaching. I got a call from a peer advisory company that said to me, Mark, we love your background. And I laughed. And I said, well, what's that? Well, my wife of 35 plus years likes my background too. I said, okay, seriously. I said, yeah, I've been a CEO. I know how to conduct full day long meetings, do one-on-one coaching and mentoring. And I knew the recruiting space because I spent 15 years doing it. Long story short, I ran into COVID. I couldn't recruit a team, put them in 16 people in a room. So I took lemons and I turned them into lemonades. And 2 people raised their hands and said, yes, Mark, we'd really like your help. And that's what I've done since August of 2020.
Awesome. Now, tell us kind of, what does your coaching business now specialize in? Do you have a special niche that you really focus on?
Yeah, it's all about small to mid-sized businesses, right? So people who are highly entrepreneurial that want to scale their business. It could be in a general variety of industries. I happen to have come from the recruiting and staffing business, so I do have a good size of my team that I work with that are in recruiting and staffing, but doesn't have to be. So that can be solopreneurs, teams of 5 or 6, and outside of recruiting and staffing, no more than teams of 100, because we want entrepreneurs to really implement what we go through. Otherwise, they're not going to get value, right?
And where are you based, Mark?
I'm based in Peachtree Corners, Georgia. We're about an hour-ish, depending on how bad traffic is in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So
Nice. And then you work with clients, I assume, across the country, around the world, perhaps?
Across the country, plenty of work and people in need here in the U.S., yes.
Awesome. Now, we had talked a little bit before the show, and you mentioned that you have some special information for business owners that can help them. You call it the 3M's. Tell us, what are the 3M's?
Yeah, thanks for asking about that. Look, no matter what we do in life, I say the 3M's are the cornerstone of success. And I'll dive in deeper into each one, but a quick overview is mindset, motion, like the activity, and mastering skills. So whether you want to be a good dad, a good brother, a good athletic coach, a good entrepreneur, whatever you want to do in life, if we can bring those 3 things together, we could be successful. So I'll give you a couple ideas on things that I suggest for mindset. Well, you got to do you, first of all. It's not canned. I'll share with that what I do, but affirmations are a great way of starting the day. And I encourage folks to say these out loud because if you don't hear it, you don't see it. So if you're reading them, you get your eyes, you got your brains, you got your mouth, you got your ears, you got a lot of your senses involved. If you say it out loud to the universe, usually good things come back. And it could be asking for success. It can say, as I do without being cocky, I'm the best investment a business owner can make in their business. And you can say it sincerely, not cockiness. Because if you don't say that, it won't come back to you. So you can ask for good health, success, relationships in your life, whatever it may be. Others, which I do as well, will do yoga. It's about breath work. So it's a little bit of exercise, a little bit of physical activity. I encourage you to do that in the morning. But even during the course of the day, you're done with lunch, spend 3 to 5 minutes just meditating. And even if it's literally closing your eyes at your desk, turn off all your electronics and close your eyes and just breathe. Anxiety goes down, productivity goes up after. So that's what we suggest on mindset. And for folks who work with us, we give them a list of about 30 ideas. And they're ideas because, again, you got to make them.
So you mentioned reciting those affirmations. Do you also recommend writing them down again, or do you find it's sufficient to just read or repeat those affirmations each day?
Have them in Outlook. within Outlook, you'll see the details. I never leave home without my black book. It's my ops manual, literally. So what do? We have our affirmations. So whether I am at my desk, I prefer to do it at my desk and not have the electronics. Electronics can be get us going in the wrong direction. So you can, yes, write it down. And guess what? They can change month to month, week to week. You can have a mantra for the week. Like this week, I'm going to have 5 great calls, prospect calls or client calls, whatever the deal is. So it could be as deep as you want it to be, or as, hey, I've got 2 minutes. Mark, what should I do? Pick the 3 to 5 things that are most important.
All right, got it. So the next one is motion. So what do you mean by emotion here? Is this like running a marathon or?
Yeah, we're not getting in a car. We're not getting in a helicopter or an airplane. Motion is the business motion.
Okay.
So most of us, that means we may do social media stuff on there to put our brand out there. Some people may call it putting ourselves out there. It may be recording videos for YouTube. It may be doing just like we're doing today, right now. It could mean calls, literally. Twofold. One, I need to acquire clients. Second, I have also got to deliver my product or service, right? So we got to do the work. Fairy dust is not coming down to make sure we are successful. So there are ways to enhancing this. We have a piece of software that has automation, which does a lot of great stuff, including email, text, voicemail drop, click to call. So you can condense the time, but you still got to do the work, right? There's tools today that give you more value for your time, but we still got to put the effort in.
So how does one connect mindset and motion? I assume those need to be connected for having really maximum efficiency here and maximum effectiveness, right?
I would say that your mindset is it's going to be a bad day today. You can go through the motion and your delivery is going to be god awful. You won't have the enthusiasm. You won't pronounce your words. Let's face it, people judge each other very quickly in today's society. So you've got really 30 seconds at most to go, okay, he's a good guy. He's happy. He's excited about what he does or she does. So those are how they tie in.
Okay. When picking those motions, like obviously there's many things one can be doing in business or life or personal, to kind of map up to those affirmations with the mindset. What do you recommend people do to just get started? Like if this is all new to them, where do they even get started to figure out what their motion needs to be?
Well, I literally would make a list of everything one could do in a day in one's business day, right? So you can go into time blocking, which I'm a big proponent of. We have a tool that we make available to our clients. Don't try to do 5 things at once because you're going to be successful at probably 0 of them. So as we're on the video right now, I've got nothing else going on my desk or electronically. Stay focused in the moment. I'll give you a great example. There's many times during the year people want to take a vacation or, a holiday falls on a Thursday. Most people think you may not get all 5 out of 5 days done in 3 days, but you can get pretty close. Yeah. Get rid of the noise. Get rid of all the distractions. So map out your day. The motion may change depending on which industry, but if you're a solopreneur, you're going to make calls. You're going to go visit clients. You're going to have to do delivery. If you've got a team, you better spend time coaching your team. They're counting on you. Yeah. You got to buy goods. You better make sure you got inventory. You got to pay bills. So again, all those things are what I would call motion or activities, and they don't have to happen haphazardly in a day or a week, right? Some things need more attention than others. So that's a tool that we use.
What you're saying reminds me a lot of some of the philosophies of Napoleon Hill and like Think and Grow Rich and his interview with the devil, and just talking about the real critical importance of that positive mindset, having the affirmations, believing and having that faith in what you're doing. And then of course that has to be followed up with the motion that you said, to have these things become reality for you. What kind of inspiration do you draw from when you're developing the 3M's?
Well, there's quite a few of them. I think of, at times, my dad, who was first generation here in the U.S., who had a high school education, who started his own business because his boss told him no to a year-long bonus, which was in 1970s money about 60 grand. I never saw my dad cry. 2 years later, we moved to Atlanta. That kind of on one shoulder. Look, I draw inspiration from my family. I've got kids that are very successful. I draw inspiration from people I talk with, whether I work with them or not. I drew inspiration from our first call. You gave me a few things that hit home. Seriously. So there's a lot of ways to draw inspiration. It can be spiritual, like your favorite religious leader. It doesn't have to be. It could be somebody in athletics. Like I went to the University of Alabama. Nick Saban's probably the GOAT in college football. He talked about the process. I talk about the process. There's a lot of great people that you can draw inspiration from. Business, from athletics, from spiritual, from our families. And it can change from time to time. We don't have to be stuck on one thing or one person.
Awesome. Now let's go to the third M.
Master the skill. Yes. If you
Tell
think
us
you
about
got
that.
perfect, if you think you've got whatever you today, and let's suppose it's a presentation, right, or even a first call. We have to, if we think we're perfect at it, we're kidding ourselves. But Harley, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect because literally we judge ourselves probably harder than most folks judge us. So whether it's, I need to make calls today, right? Guess what? There's a good way to practice this mastery. Before you get on the phone, look in the mirror, say your little spiel, and get all the bad ones out before you ever talk to them. You can record it on here. You can record it on Zoom to see, hey, I'm going to be on Zoom all day. Do I look right? Is my hair, whatever? I'm giving you one example, but it could be literally, I'm taking on a new CRM. Well, guess what? If we want to get the most out of that investment in money, we have to put the time in, right? So it says mastery is a little bit of time and money investment to push your business forward.
Yeah, I see that all the time. It's easy to buy something new, get the shiny new widget, hire a new employee. But unless you put your time in getting them trained or mastering that tool, it's of no value and you'll end up failing with it.
100%. So it reminds me of a short story I'll share with you. I once was in a sales organization. I was one of 30. In 3 years, I became the number one. And it's not that I was the best salesperson. I had a chip on my shoulder. Nobody's going to beat me from effort. So I worked my butt off. Fourth year, I literally brought in $1 million of profit to the company. Was commission, made over 200 grand back in the 90s. It was a lot of money back then. I took that sales team from 30 to 130. Now I fired a bunch of people. But to your point, look, I hired them myself. I trained them myself. I coached them. Some people aren't willing to do the work or master the skill or have the right mindset. I started learning about those things. I didn't know those words back then, quite frankly. But yeah, if you don't invest in your employees, including yourself, you're the number one employee in your company, usually not good things will happen. We got to invest in ourselves. Yeah. And this is literally the 3M's. What it's all about is investing in ourselves and our company.
So for someone who is, I guess the question I would have, someone who's wanting to get started with mastering, like, how do you decide what you want to work on first with regards to mastering? Is it just kind of on that motion? You pick those things the motion that you've picked out already and you master those, or are there other kind of higher level mastery concepts?
No, that is the place to start because those activities usually mean those are the things. Look, I work on the things that I'm going to do the most of, or the most revenue producing, or delivery focused. And I say delivery again, if you have a service or you've got a product that you got to ship and it's got to be on time. Focus on the top 3 to 5 things. And again, I wouldn't do them all at once. This week, we're going to focus on this one thing. We can't, another expression, boil the ocean. We'll fail at all of them. So this week, we can work on one thing. We can wrap back around it. We're going to, because something may change in the business world. Yeah.
How do you tell once you've mastered something? What do you have measurables, and do you need to set those up in advance? What is that kind of goal or time where you're like, this is done, let's move to the next thing?
Another great question. So like if we can't measure it, we can't get better. Okay. I'll give you a thing. It's really hard to measure and it may not even matter to some folks, like accounts payable or receivable. I don't know if you're going to get better at it, you may understand that there's certain clients you may have to remind them before the bill is due, right? So if you know that, guess what? Do it 10 days beforehand. Don't wait till the bill's due and then wait another 20 days to get paid. And I don't know if you're going to get better at that, but things like, I want to have so many conversations. We can measure how many conversations we have in a week. We can measure how many people want to move forward today, or say, guess what? Today's not the right time. Please stay in touch and follow that. Or like you and I talked about, how can we help each other? Just be a good human being. How can we refer business? If you're having a conversation with somebody, there's only one bad thing. And the bad thing is, no, I don't want to talk to you because I'm so focused on me. Yeah. Otherwise, how we can measure all those things, right? We can measure sales revenue. We can measure gross margin. We can measure a lot of stuff. But the key thing is, if we're not talking to somebody usually, unless we're running a web business, in that case, it's really simple. How many clicks did I get? How many people landed on my checkout page? How many people actually bought? Product mix, gross margin, etc. But if you're in a service-based business, it could get a little bit more challenging, right? Time to deliver services, that's another good one. If you're in the recruiting business, how long did it take you to have your first interview scheduled with a client? Yeah. So if you took a search on a Monday, is it Wednesday? Is it Thursday? So we're going to have to do speed and quality. Yeah.
For someone who's just getting started with the 3M's, is there a specific order in which you kind of recommend them they go through things, or like an exercise, or what? How does someone really just get started doing these things?
I would start with the mindset, because if you don't have good mindset, you can do the other stuff and you're just going to go through the motions, quite frankly. So it's those three things. It's mindset, motion, figuring out what I need to do, time blocking it in your day, and then going, which of these do I really need to hone my skills in, right? But they said in the beginning, they all kind of marry up. You want to be successful as an entrepreneur, you got to marry those. How to start doing that? On my YouTube channel, I have different videos available that have downloads, worksheets on how to do that. If somebody meets with me and says, Mark, I'd like to know more about the 3M's, I'm happy to share, my templates with them, whether they work with me or not. It's that important that we have good businesses out there. There's a lack of good entrepreneurs. Yeah. So as a small business owner, It's important to me that more of us succeed. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I love that abundance mindset that you have. And Mark, I really appreciate you sharing the 3M's with us today and being open to help other business owners. If someone wants to get in touch with you and talk about how they can get started using the 3M's and really take their business to the next level where they want it to be, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, it's probably visiting our website. They'll have a little bit feel of what we do in more depth. There'll be a place to book a call. So our website is go.xcs-us.com. Yeah. And there's several places on there you can schedule a call.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and experience with us today. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you. Enjoyed being with you.